Do you guys remember me raving to everyone and anyone about LiDAR on the new iPhones? And then it came out and it didn't really do anything. And I knew somebody was gonna do it, but of course it was my favorite filmmaking app. They added a portrait video mode. You can get shallow depth of field on your iPhone now. Okay, so this video is sponsored by ProTake, but let me tell you how that went. They told me they had a portrait video mode and I was like, oh heck yes, I need to tell people about this. And then I got greedy and I asked, is there any way you guys could give us more control over long exposure in time-lapse mode? And they did that too. Ask and you shall receive. Now you can do long exposure time lapses whenever you want, not just when the iPhone is completely stable, like on a tripod with the native camera app. And you can actually choose the specific shutter speed that you want. ProTake, you guys are awesome. It is my favorite filmmaking app ever since I got my hands on it. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video. The reason why it's my favorite filmmaking app is that it's just so intuitive to use. As soon as I opened it up, I was like, this is how it should be. You have all your camera settings to the top right, shutter speed and ISO wheel on the left side. Those are your exposure controls. Zoom and focus on the right wheel. You get your scopes like waveform, video assist features like zebra and peaking, even color profiles or looks built in like this Alexa or C-Log look. And I like that you can lock in whether you want to be in horizontal mode or vertical mode. And you even get a lot of the functionality in the free version, which is really great. But here's the new stuff. They already had the auto mode, which I like because there's times where I'm filming like an Instagram story and I just want it to be in auto and maybe add a look. It sounds simple, but I really like that they have auto on here. Then we have the pro mode, which you have full manual controls over everything. Then they added dual mode, so now you can record with two cameras at the same time. For example, with the telephoto and the ultra wide, it's gonna record both of those cameras at the same time so you can get two angles instead of just the one. And then we have the brand new portrait mode. And this is literally like the photo portrait mode that you have in the native iPhone camera app, where it adds like a shallow depth of field look, but this time it's in video using LiDAR. They actually give you this cool little view of what the LiDAR is seeing and the different depths. And I will be the first to say it's not perfect. And I think this is more of a hardware limitation than it is a software or something to do with ProTake itself. But it actually works surprisingly well. I didn't think it was gonna work this well, even though I had really high hopes. When I filmed just my face, it was doing a pretty good job. Yeah, there's certain parts like the ears might be blurred out and they probably shouldn't be, but overall, it's doing a pretty nice job. Now with smaller objects like your hand or your fingers, it's just not gonna work as well. It's not that precise yet, or that's what it looks like. And there are unfortunately some limitations. It's only in 1080 and the big downside is that there's no stabilization. And I think those are unfortunately just the limitations that we have to live with right now. But honestly, I can't believe that we're getting a big sensor look and a tiny sensor on the iPhones. It's really incredible and I can't wait for this LiDAR technology to get even better and more precise. But ProTake, you guys did an incredible job. And there's even a non-LiDAR version that's just using visual information from the different cameras to kind of do the same effect. It's not as good, it's not as precise for sure, but the benefit is that you do get stabilization in that mode. But possibly even better is the new time-lapse control for slow shutter speeds. I love that you can get a proper time-lapse done straight with your iPhone. Now, I'm actually not sure if this works on Android or other cameras, or is it just the iPhone? And I hate that right now inside of the native camera app on the iPhones, you have to have the phone completely stable, like on a tripod, for the slow shutter speed to kick in, which makes the time lapses, especially at nighttime, so much better, so much cleaner. And it's so nice to have that slow shutter speed movement. But with the native camera app, as soon as you move your iPhone just a little bit, it turns off the slow shutter speed, and that just really kills it. You can't do really cool hyperlapses or anything like that. But Pro take to the rescue, now you can. You get to decide when it kicks in, and you can actually choose what shutter speed it's using. So if you want a longer trail or a shorter trail, you can decide that. Now those variable ND filters for smartphones just got way more useful and way more important, because outside it's gonna get way too bright. It's gonna be overexposed if you're trying to do these slow shutter speeds when it's bright outside. But yeah, it's incredible. I'm glad I asked. I'm glad you guys put it in there. There was two things that really bothered me or annoyed me about the new iPhones in terms of their cameras. One was the no video portrait mode, and the other was the lack of control for that slow shutter in the time-lapse mode. And now we have both. Thank you so much, ProTake, and thank you for sponsoring this video. Now, this is gonna be the last video of the year for me. I definitely need a break. I've been working super hard, especially over these last couple months, and having the new kid and all of this craziness. I'm sure you guys have been going through a lot too. This year has been a really weird one, and I think there's some sort of like psychological anxiety, constant stress on us right now. So many people that I've talked to are just saying they're really tired and really need a break, and I am one of those. I asked for time off from the boss. He gave me some time off, and I'm taking a vacation for the next 2 or 3 weeks. But man, next year is gonna be very interesting. I hate it when content creators are like, there's some really big things coming, but there's some pretty interesting big things, very interesting developments happening. I'm really excited for next year. But anyways, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I hope you have a great end to your year and that you get to take some time off, spend some time with your family and maybe some friends, and hopefully this pandemic ends soon so that we can get back to normal life. I miss traveling so bad, and I miss seeing people and all of that stuff. But yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I will see you guys in the new year. See ya.